Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready
Ready for what?
to level up?
Okay, girl, let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
On today's episode, we'll be talking about something that I suck at and Alysha is actually really good at, is saying no to people and learning to say no.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about everyday life and how we come across people who ask you to do favors, or if you have things that are going on, you just need to learn to say no to get your shit done. Like, that's the whole point of hustling and being a girl boss lady, is putting yourself first, but also caring for others.
And it's not the easiest thing in the world. Saying no is super hard for some people.
Ramen.
Like me. Saying no comes really easy to some people, and it's really difficult for other people. And I do feel like learning to say no is something you grow with age.
Yeah.
If you're like in high school and you're really good at saying no, then amazing. You're already ahead of... but you know what? When you're in high school, like, people probably just think you're a bitch for saying no.
So that's the stigma that comes with it, though.
But it's like when you are an adult and you're saying no, it's like, oh,
yeah,
she can handle or time manage better because she could say no to the unimportant things.
Or she knows her time is valuable.
Yes, that's a good way to say it.
And I think, you know what, guys, it's not about just saying no all the time to everything. It's really just saying no to the people that might be wasting your time, and they don't deserve your time. So, you know, if you have close girlfriends or family members that aren't draining you out, but ask once in a while and they need the help and you can provide it, then you absolutely should. I don't think you should say no to everybody in your life, but I feel like you need to start to, like, kind of estimate and decide, okay, who's really valuable in my life, and would they reciprocate that back for me, and I will do that for them. And that's when you know when to really say no, I feel.
This book that I'm reading called Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. So it's basically a book where he asks, I haven't even finished yet, it feels like 100 mentors. Cool. He asks them the same question. So everybody gets the same question. And it's like 3 or 4 questions. And one of the 3 or 4 questions he asks to everybody is, what is one thing you have learned, gotten better at saying no to? Because I think it is, when we look at like successful people or, you know, people who have developed their career, it is actually a really good question, because if you said yes to everything, it would be, you would get overwhelmed and drowned. And honestly, it's so amazing to hear all the responses from all these like successful billionaires and, you know, founders and all these people. One common thing that they say no to is just like they say no to things that could actually bring them money and stuff too.
That's true.
So it's like, I hear opportunities. So they'll be like, I say no to like interviews because, you know, I can't do it for my mental health anymore. I say no to extra projects, even though it can bring me more money, because I need to focus on my stuff. I've learned to say no to like additional, you know, just anything additional,
or
that
workload
that basically
overtime. Basically,
yeah. So just saying no to a lot of things that are going to be required of them, and they're saying no because all of them have come to a realization that, and you can tell when you're like listening to this, I do highly recommend it. It's like super motivational just to hear from mentors. But it's just very interesting that everybody who has answered this question has come to the realization. So they were not like good at saying no from the beginning. Yeah. They were all bad at saying no at some point of their life. And then they've come to the realization that like, no, I need to put myself first and my values and what's important to me. And I need to learn to say no. And that's true. And I think he asks that question because it's a hard one. Yeah. Right?
For sure.
So I suck. How did you learn how to say no? Were you always this way?
I actually wasn't. I think I was always guilt tripped into saying yes before. And it would be like my biggest enemy was myself, because my conscience would be like, oh, if you say no, then like this person might suffer without you, or this person really needed your help, and like karma, like my brain went into 5 different things, and like I overstressed. Or even like,
she didn't come and chill with me.
Yeah, like anything, right? Like my, you know, I just would go crazy over like something so small. And then I think it was in the last couple of years of being married, it got really difficult because I'm really close to my family, and then to like stay away from them and have time to be a wife and also have my life, and then also be part of my old family and my new family became very difficult too. And then friends and just trying to balance it all just became too much. And then I was trying to make things happen with Unforgettable and like, you know, the summertime and all these things that I started talking to a life coach, remember? And so I had a session like a couple years ago, and then I continued it on from last year to this year. And it was that person who had said to me, draw out your life on a timeline of the things that are important to you in your day-to-day basis. So an 8-hour timeline in a day, and write down all the things you do for yourself and all the things you do for other people. And it hit me. I do this for someone else. I do this for someone else. There was very little for Alysha. And I was like, what am I doing for me? Yeah. And that's when I was like, okay, no, Alysha, you need to be more selfish, and it's okay to be selfish. Yeah. And then I started listening to podcasts about being selfish without feeling bad. Yeah. And that's where I heard other people's outlooks on how they handled it. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start to say no to things that I can say no, and explain to that person that I care about. I'm saying no, not because I just want to say no to you, but because I need to put myself first right now. And when I explained that to my loved ones and my friends and stuff, they were able to understand why the no came along.
Yeah, it's not just like a flat out no. Sorry, can't help you, can't come out, can't talk.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just to say like, this is my reasoning because I care enough about you to understand what's happening in my life right now. Yeah. To know that when I do say no to you in the next little while, this is why. And they appreciated that honesty so much more. Yeah. So when I would say no, no one fought me on it. But you can't always say no. You have to still say yes. And so I had to learn to balance that yes and no. So I do feel if you don't value my time right now, I'm a straight up B, and I'm like, nope, sorry.
At that point of life, right?
Yeah. But the people you care about, you make that balance, right?
Honestly, you said something really well, which was saying no without feeling bad. I think I don't know if that was the exact way you said it, but and I think that's why a lot of people have a problem saying no, because of like the emotions and the feelings that come with it. It's like, oh, I said no to going to dinner, or I said no to hanging out, or I said no to you needed help and I couldn't help you and stuff like that. And you know what, like sometimes it's just pure laziness, right? Like sometimes you just need a day to sit at home and watch your movie, and that was maybe the only day you had a busy week, and that was the only day that you were gonna get to unwind. And I feel like a lot of people might like jump to lying, being like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't come out today because I have this, when in reality, like, you know, that meme on Instagram, it's like in reality you're just at home sitting on Netflix and chill. And I do feel like you're absolutely right, like the way you took that approach, where it's like, instead of making up a lie or whatever, people should be like, hey, you know what, I had a really busy week and today's my day to kind of like sit at home and unwind, and I need to get some of my own stuff done, so I can't today, but maybe we could reschedule or something like that.
Absolutely.
I know personally with me, like the whole saying no part comes with like a lot of emotions.
I bet. I feel like you're someone who takes it all on though. Yeah. Like you will take every minute of your day and you will still schedule it for that person, because you're like, okay, I can do all this, but I'm going to still make time for you. But instead of like Raman sitting there and having lunch, she would rather than do that favor for someone. Yeah.
Like I would eat my food and then do work at the same time. Yeah. I'm really bad at saying no. So it is something that
Why do you feel like you're bad at it?
Like I said, I think for me personally, and this could be a lot of other people too, I think a lot of emotion comes with saying no. So I feel like I feel guilty. To say no, I get nervous. I get very like, you know, uncomfortable. Awkward. And like, I guess a part of me feels like I can take everything on. Yeah. I feel like growing up, maybe I had like, okay, like there's no to saying like to a lot of things. I feel like growing up, I probably had like FOMO, like when it was like going out with friends, when you're like in high school and university, right? It's like all you're thinking about is chilling, right? Exactly. So I feel like that's what I meant. Saying no comes with time, because you learn you had your fun, you had all the clubbing and the drinking and the restaurants and the dinner. Like how much of those are you really going to do, right? So exactly. You've done all that, and now it's about saying no to things to do, like for your own priority list about your own life, about your goals. It might be work that you're doing outside of home. But I feel like growing up, like it might have been a little FOMO, like I was scared of like missing out and not being with my friends and stuff like that. Now I'm like okay with the saying no to if I can't chill necessarily, but I feel like I do still try to make time. I'll be like, oh, maybe I can chill for like 2 hours or something.
Do that.
Like maybe I can't chill for long, but I'll try to. But it's so bad because the 2 hours turns to like 3, 4. So I am really bad with that. And then I kind of like I have had times where I've like had to do my own stuff.
I don't know if you remember, but I like forced you to come to a cottage weekend once, and you were super busy. And I was like, Raman, you need to come to the cottage weekend, please. Like, it'll be so much fun. It was Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were like, I'm just coming up for the night.
One night.
Yeah. That turned into the entire weekend because we just kept, like, reconvincing her and Tim. And they were like, yeah, we're having such a good time.
Oh, I know.
So, see, that's, like, prime example that, like, you couldn't say no.
Yeah. I'm bad at saying no for help as well. Like, for example, right now, I'm at a point in my life where I'm, like, not like right now, I would say from the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just so busy. I feel like I don't have time for TV, to watch a movie, to like, I feel like I'm constantly working from the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep. But like still, if someone asked me for help, I probably would try to still squeeze it in. Like yesterday, I was still like telling Karen, I was like, I had no time, but I was like, but if you need me, tell me, I'll be there, right? Like, just let me know if you need me, and I can make time and 407 it and get there.
And you would be there. See, I think, like, we need to figure out how to help you.
I know. I need help, guys.
Yeah, we need to help Raman. So
but at least we know. Yeah, we know I have this problem.
The first step is admitting it.
I have a problem, guys. I can't say no. Don't ask me for money because I might say yes.
You know what's funny? You know how you said people ask you for help? I have such a hard time asking people for help. Because I'm the same person who would say no. I have such a hard time to ask those around me for help as well. So I feel like that's another struggle in a whole different podcast.
I feel like I'm there as well.
You don't ask for help. I've noticed that
One thing my sister-in-law told me, just like one day we were sitting here, she was like, you're too nice. She told me too. She's like, you need to say no. Because I do think like now I'm becoming more aware of it. And I do think people who know me really well know as well that I'm really bad at saying no. Because I'll be basically working and then I'll have like 5 people come into my bedroom and they're causing ruckus. And I don't have the heart to be like, can you get out of my room?
Yeah.
So she was like, the other day, she was like, you were so into your work, you were so busy, and we were just like talking to you, and she's like, you could have just told us to get out of your room. And I'm like, I know, but she was like, no. She's like, honestly, there's no hard feelings, because even she notices that like I'll be like zombied out doing work, and then people will come into my room, start talking, and I'm like, this is me. I'm like looking at me, I'm looking at them, I'm trying to listen. I'm like, okay, then the kids yelling, and I'm trying to do everything, but ever since she did bring that to my attention,
you're more aware.
I am a bit more aware, and I do want to try. So like, for example, last night I was like, remember I told you I was working really late again, and then she did come into my room, and I said, I'm like, as soon as I'm done this spreadsheet, I have to kick you out of my room. And she was like, yeah, absolutely okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, like, but I just need some time, like, to myself, right? So I just needed like a moment to be alone and kind of like that. And I think
that's fair. Yeah. Especially when people understand what you're going through.
That's what I was going to say. It's also about, I think what might help me is also with people that like are gonna support that part. Like with me living with my sister-in-law, she knows that I'm not going anywhere. Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
She knows I'll see you tomorrow.
Like, I'll see you like in 5 minutes, whatever, go do your thing. And like, she doesn't take it offensively. No. And I know in the back of my head, like, nothing I say to her, and we're like sisters, right? Exactly. Even if we do fight, we're gonna be back to normal by the next day. So it's like that fear also, I think, of other people's reactions that prevents a person from saying no.
And that's a good point, Raman. So I think for those that are listening, if you have someone in your life that does say no to you, be someone who can reciprocate it well. Don't shut them down. Don't hurt them more, because it might be really hard for them to say no to you.
To begin with.
Yeah. Like, put yourself in their shoes. Think about maybe they had a tough day and that's why I'm getting the no today. And like just try to understand and be empathetic towards them as well, not just on the rejection side, but the fact that like, okay, yeah, I understand, you know, let's also be that way on the reciprocating side.
You are so right. I feel like to our listeners, this is not just about saying no, it's also about how we reciprocate to people when they are saying no to us. Yeah. Okay, if someone's just a bitch and they're just saying no all the time, fine. You know what? Be pissed.
Yeah. Then confront them. Like, all you do is say no.
All you do is say no. And that's okay to say too. I feel like I have said that to people. But like, if you are like hearing that out, don't be like, oh, like you're not doing this for me or blah blah blah. I would most likely be like, okay, like I hope you get all your stuff done. And even with you, like Alysha, like with you having like such a busy weekend and having saying no to me so many times, it's still I felt like so bad. Like Alysha felt so bad, but I didn't want to like be like, oh, like I don't understand that you're busy.
You were so understanding.
Yeah, like I was like, no, it's fine. Like, did you get your stuff done? Like, what's going on? Blah blah blah. So it is all about how you reciprocate as well, because that might help the other people struggling with no. And you know what, like once you know a person, you know, right, like that this is kind of not how they are, and maybe this is something they're doing outside their comfort zone. And hey, I'm proud of you for taking the leap and saying no.
Exactly. I completely agree with you, Raman. So I feel like Raman's already taken the first step of learning to start saying no to her immediate family.
With my parents. And I feel like, you know what?
That's a good place to start though.
Because it's the easiest with your family.
It is, because they'll love you no matter what. You can yell at your family members one day, and they'll still be the same people that will take that apology the next. Yeah. So they're the only people in your life that you can yell and be like a savage and a jungly, and they'll still love you the next day.
They'll still love you the next day.
So I think that's a good place to start.
I actually had a dream last night that I got mad at my dad. And I yelled at him.
Oh, but your dad's so cute.
I know. He's adorable. I love him. Yeah. But it's actually just really funny that I had a dream literally just last night that I got mad.
It's your subconscious that you need to say no to something.
I know, right? Maybe this was on my mind, but
yeah. It's a good place to start.
It's a good place to start. Your family won't judge you.
No. They'll be understanding. And listen, some family members might not be, guys. Like, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. There will be some that may not understand at all, but that's okay. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to see where they're coming from. They might just be really needy and depend on you. And that doesn't mean that's the life you should live for the rest of your life. But you just got to find a way that works more gentle and more, like, cautious.
I don't know how people do it. Like, I've known people growing up that literally said no to going out to every event.
I say no to a lot of clubbing events. Like, when I met you, I knew you were a Friday, Saturday night kind of girl. And I came a couple of times that were important to Raman.
Yeah, but it's like you don't have to come every time.
And I told you that. I'm like, listen, I've done this. I'm done it.
Yeah.
Unless it's your birthday or something major, like the year of Raman, I will show up. But otherwise... not interested.
I know. Oh, we should do a podcast about the year of Raman one day.
We need to, actually.
Everybody needs to hear it.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Epic year.
Epic year.
But yeah, so
I feel like I have a really bad time saying no to birthdays. Because then I feel like, oh, it's your birthday.
You're a sucker for birthdays.
I know. I love birthdays. And I would hate for someone to do it on my birthday. So I'm just like... you know, it's your birthday. I have to be there.
Actually, you don't do it just for birthdays. You do it for anyone having a milestone in their life.
That is true.
Baby showers.
Baby showers, like
bridal showers, bachelorettes. Raman is notorious.
I know. I love this is why we're event planners.
Totally.
this is like, we do this so much in our everyday life. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like someone asks help for planning and stuff like that. Because it's something that also excites me. I'm like ready to like jump in and basically start planning.
But you know what? You're that positivity in everyone's life. So when I think of all the major events I've had and you were there, I like associate you with happiness, you know? So I'm hoping the people you plan these things for also do the same. Because it's really nice to know you have someone there that's always going to be willing to make your event special no matter the mood. So I think
but it's like really what you said. It's also, you said this at the beginning of the podcast. It's also about evaluating like how much are you doing for others versus like how much is someone going to do for you. Because it burns you out. Yeah. Not saying no will burn you out. You will be like, And I feel like I have had moments like this where I'm like, I spent all my energy doing this, but it's like, would
For
you
what?
do the same for me? Like, you know what I mean?
We've had this conversation so many times in this past year.
Alicia gives me shit
Yeah.
all the time because
You know what? I feel like this could be a different podcast, but I feel like I came from such a big group of friends that I had all these little group of friends and then big group of friends that were more than I can count on my hands.
Yeah.
That when you get older and as you keep growing, you realize, why are these people in my life? Like, you start to like really think about it and you go, do they add value? Like, what did this person contribute to my life in the past year? So you know how we talked about looking at our goals? I do that with friendships because I need to know, if I gave you more this year of my time and you've given me no time, why am I in your life?
maybe that's like a reason to say no, right? Then that's when you know to say no.
And when I start saying no to you, that means I'm like close to like saying goodbye to you as well. And that has happened. And I'm down to people I can count on my fingers almost now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change it any other way. And I feel like that's why getting no has come a lot easier, because it's also been people I was able to like not cut, like I don't just go cut them, but I'm just like, I tell them before I cut them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, Alysha does. She's actually great in those ways.
Like, I'm very transparent. Like, listen, you did me wrong and this is why. And I just feel like this is going nowhere for both of us, because I want them to know that I didn't just abandon you, especially if we were really close. With the people you can have those conversations with, it's easier.
Yeah.
There's some people who will not ever understand, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes easier to like value your friendships and your relationships. Does this person add value to your life? Ask yourself, if this person's stressing you out all the time, they're always giving you drama issues, and they're not there for you otherwise. If they're the person that calls you and just complains, but never goes, how are you? Ask yourself, what has this person done for me? Am I always their therapist?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to answer the phone today. That's where you can start that way. That's how you can start to determine, who am I going to start saying no to.
We should do this, Alysha. So it's March.
Okay.
I'm going to really work on this.
Okay.
And we will do another podcast in a couple of months about saying no again, and we will reevaluate if I have actually gotten better at saying no.
Okay.
So this is what I'm going to do. This is my takeaway from what I have learned from Alysha. I'm gonna, because you are just so much like, but it's true. Like, Alysha and I are opposites in every way, but it helps us because things that I'm not good at, she's better at, and things that she's not good at, I'm there to snap her out of it.
Exactly.
And this is like one thing Alysha's been trying to literally slap me across the face for many, 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 many years. She's been like, Raman, you just need to say no, or you need to stop doing this. You need to stop being so nice.
You
like, just,
are too nice. Listen, we love you. You are nice.
And I'm hearing it a lot this year, but I'm hearing it in ways where it's like from you, from my sister-in-law. It's that like,
because it's starting to impact your personal life.
Yeah, because I'm so busy these days, I need to say those no's and take time for myself and put the items that I need to do in priority. And maybe like, and I know I love the planning, and it's really hard for me to like step away from that.
So instead of doing 10 birthdays a year, you'll do like 5.
Okay, I'll do 5.
5 birthdays, okay?
Like, I do think I need to step back from all, like, the party planning and the, like, we just did Tim's birthday this weekend, and it was, it took up, like, my whole weekend and stuff like that, but it was amazing. I loved it.
But he's important.
Yeah.
He's your other half.
Yeah.
So I hold that higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you need to make time for that kind of people. Those people that are in your immediate circle.
Yeah.
Your immediate life.
A part of me is almost like okay that it's still COVID and everything is still on lockdown, because I'm like, and I think that's why I feel like I appreciated COVID a lot more than other people, because everyone's like, I miss going out to restaurants, and I'm like, yo, I was going out to like dinners every week, this and
even
that,
on
and
weeknights you were
on weeknights
just to fit people into your schedule.
And I'm just like, I kind of like it, like this time that I'm busy, and I can't imagine managing a social life with all the work that I'm trying to do. If things were open and restaurants were open and people still had birthdays and events and clubs and this and that, I'm just like, I don't think I have the time. So I think it's actually perfect that I work on saying no this year, so that way by the time everything, I'm just like, nope, I'm sorry, I can't
Definitely,
come.
I agree with you.
I know.
Okay, so you're gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this. I'm going to, and I know I've been really good with like managing my time, but obviously sometimes I say I'm gonna chill for 2 minutes and then it turns into 3-4. So I think what I need to do is like
set a timer,
stay more strict on that, and then, you know, be real with myself. Like, if I know that like I'm not gonna get my work done if I go do this, then I need to stay back and do my work.
I think you need to stop making commitments so early on in the day or week.
Oh, you know what? That is an amazing thing you said that, because, you know, okay, so...
It's like a light bulb went off in you.
It did, because it was one of the things that one of the mentors said in the book, and I don't remember which one it was because there's so many, but one of, like, and he's like a billionaire, he was like, I never make a commitment that's more than a week out, because it's so easy to look at your calendar, and obviously we're not billionaires. No. But you can imagine how busy a billionaire's schedule is.
For sure.
And he was like, I never make a commitment that's more than a week out. Because right now my month looks empty, but it's not going to look empty when it gets there. And now I've made all these commitments that I don't even want to do, right? Because then, like,
you don't have time for yourself either.
Yeah, I guess when we say like, oh, we'll do a dinner like in a month. We'll do it on this date. And it sounds great because you're like, oh, you pre-planned and you, made a commitment. So you should be free. But that doesn't turn into the case. So he was like, so when people ask me for an appointment, I say, ask me 2-3 days in advance. Sure. Or like a day in advance. And then if I have time the next day or the day after, I'll do it. And then if I don't, I don't. Then follow up like in another couple of days. Yeah, you do that.
Because I know.
You'll be like, I can't make a commitment that far.
Yeah, I know things will come up. And I'm going to be, like, overwhelmed already by
And then you're like, oh, I already made this commitment like a month ago, and it's a shitty feeling.
I've learned from my mistakes. I've stopped doing that. Because instead of, like, flopping on someone when it's closer to that date, I'm just like, no. Like, I've learned that, no, Alysha, you have a hectic life. I'm married to a person who has his own life. Yeah. And, like, we have families. And, like, there's just, like, so much in between. That I'm like, okay, I can commit. Like, there are things you do need to commit to that you put in your calendar every month. Like our podcast. Mm-hmm. We have that. We've had to, like, thankfully Raman was able to work with my schedule recently because we were moving and dealing with so much. But, you know, you have these moments where you're like, okay, this is a priority to me and it's going to help me. It's going to be in something that I'm passionate about. I'm going to schedule this into my calendar because it's so important. Other than that, if it's not that important, guys, it can wait a few days. It can wait till the week of. It can wait till a few days before that. And I like that Raman put that mentor said that, you know what, okay, can I get back to you? Like, follow up with me 3 days before that date and let's see if it works still. Yeah, you should always double check. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, so I think maybe that's what I'll do. Usually I do like to plan my, like, week on Monday in advance because we have, like, our podcast. Scheduling your events are different though, Raman. Yeah. That's what you're mixing up with.
Yes. Okay, you're right.
You should schedule your week according to life.
My events, but the way I've been planning out my week is like, okay, if we need to post the podcast on this day, we record it on this day. I'm doing my decor videos on YouTube as well, so I want to post on this day. I have to record on this day. I have to edit on this day because it's not like a quick thing. Yeah. And that's why I'm so happy that places are not open because I feel like I really can't afford the time to be out and about. You wouldn't have the time for all this. For sure. I would not have the time. So I do think I do need to get better at saying no. No to phone calls, no to like chilling, just
you should just like put your phone on silent during the times you're busy. You are notorious for picking up calls when you shouldn't be. Yeah. Like, Raman needs to understand when she is spending valuable time with certain people in her life, that's her downtime.
What if someone's dying?
If they're dying, they'll call their family before they call you. They will call their parents.
What if their family died?
Oh my gosh, Raman. Okay, knocking on window.
No. Okay, this is getting morbid now. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to work on it.
We're going to hold Raman accountable for this. We're going to check in a few months and see how she's done. She's going to give us prime examples of how she said no for different scenarios in her life.
And I hope this like podcast kind of gave everyone a realization that and also showed you guys that, hey, we're not sitting here and we're perfect at saying no. Like, I'm a prime example of I suck at it. It's something I'm going to work on. It's something that, you know, I really do need to focus on because I do need to put myself first. Absolutely. And my priorities and my health and all that. So the same thing goes for anybody else that's out there with saying no. You are not alone. I am with you.
Exactly. See?
But we don't have to continue to be this way. We need to learn to say no, get better at it. And you know what? If you are having those people in your life that are not reacting well for you saying no, like I said, don't say what Alysha said, don't say no to everything, because you will have things that are priority in your life and you do need to give time and attention to.
Exactly.
But if the people are not responding well with you saying no, then yeah, like maybe it's a thing for you to reevaluate. Like, okay, like I'm doing all this for you, but like you can understand that like I'm saying no because I need to do my shit. Maybe you should ask me, like, do I need any help?
Yeah.
Right?
Be transparent.
Be transparent.
Tell them how it is, people.
It's not easy. Cause
it's not.
It's not easy.
These conversations are never easy to have. It might be easy for you to express them, but the other person may not be willing to reciprocate it well. Yeah. So just know your audience.
And since we mentioned it is something you learn with time, if you are of a younger age, like we're going into our 30s now, but if you are in your earlier 20s, I feel like this is a great thing to start embedding and learning at your younger age, because at that age, there's a lot of FOMO.
Oh, yeah. Tons.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's just FOMO left, right, and center, because you're like, that party, that event, that birthday. And you know what? That part of your age is all about that. Fun. But there were days where I should have stayed home and studied or like worked on my assignment. Like my friend and I would go out and then come back, do our assignment, and literally like be in class for like 8 a.m. in the morning.
See?
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm talking about.
It was great times. Life. But like, do learn to say no to something, because even like nights like those were really great, but there were other nights where I was like, I should have just not gone out, and I should have just stayed home. And I do feel like at that age, it's a lot of FOMO, which you do grow out of. Yeah. And then you do start prioritizing yourself as like you're working and stuff like that. Yes. But it's a good habit to start embedding and learning at a younger age.
I completely agree with you.
It'll help you time manage, put yourself first. If you're always constantly putting other people first, I feel like you're gonna get lost in the whole like I don't know what the word is. You're gonna get lost
in someone else's world.
Yeah, well,
you're not leading your world
instead
anymore.
of building your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I do think it's time to basically step up and know that saying no is not a big thing, because one thing I learned from this Tribe of Mentors book is this is one thing every billionaire and successful person has gone through and they've learned from. So if I want to be there, I need to learn to say no to, and hopefully I'll have like my own success story of what is one thing I have gotten better at saying no to.
Well, you are going to have a success story in a few months when we follow up on this topic.
Yes, I will.
Guys, this is a good time for you to start along with Raman. So get started, start valuing the people in your life, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
Thank you for listening. We hope you had some valuable information and had some fun listening to our struggles. Yes. If you have any feedback, comments, you can email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com. And if you're not already following us on social media, follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Level Up with Raman and Alysha. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Have a great week. Bye.